Okay.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello, one and all. This is Dom and Tom for Sit Talking Hobby episode 75. Yeah,
So
baby.
I'm not gonna hurt myself. It's Gavin.
Hello,
Felp
hello,
Hire.
greetings.
By the way,
Oh,
Felp Hire is painting.
no, he's not.
He did. He
He's playing one of your video
no.
games.
He actually. I asked him tonight, and he said he was going to come on and watch the the stream, and actually do some more painting because he's doing his warriors at the moment,
Oh my goodness,
and
that is impressive.
hopefully he's hopefully coming down for Vicky's birthday dinner.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
So
goodness. So, on the stream, ladies and gentlemen, we essentially sit here, do some hobby, have a little chit chat, and talk about the week of hobby and what we've done and what we've got up to, and Games Workshop news and all that, blah blah blah. Um, so it's all good stuff ahead. Also, we've got an unboxing tonight. Woo!
I can't remember what you bought.
No, well, are you going to find out? Everyone's going to find out
It's cool.
together,
I'm
Tom.
looking forward to it. What are you
So,
up to tonight
Tom,
anyway? No. What are you
I
up to?
am
You're
doing.
going first this time.
I'm still painting Battle Sisters. I'm doing some more Battle
We
Sisters
don't need
stuff.
them anymore.
No, well, I need them. I always need Battle Sisters, so they are getting painted. What are you up to? A bike.
I'm doing some. No, not just.
It looks like it's been painted already. Bikes.
No, I'm doing my highlighting scheme on these. So I'm carrying on with my Templar renewal. I suppose is the best way to look at it, with my edge highlighting. Because these look, I don't know if you can see, these look a little bit. I suppose I think boring would be the term.
Okay, so you're just upping your game on the Maya.
Yeah. I
A little
think I'm
bit
just going to
more.
make them look a little bit more pizzazz on them. So, because actually I thought I quite
Very
like. But
nice.
obviously you saw my repulsors at the weekend. I hope they looked a bit better than they did previously. I don't know how you thought. I didn't really ask your opinion because it was a bit of a rushed job, to be fair. So, I think they came out looking.
They look lovely, Thomas.
Thank you, appreciate that. Because obviously, for those who don't know, me and Dom actually played several games at the weekend.
We did indeed. Yeah, we had a little tournament we went
Good.
to.
We'll get there in a minute.
We'll talk about that in
Yeah.
a bit. So, what's everyone in the chat working on, except for Felpire, who we know is painting some troop choices for once. Good job, Felpire. Good job. What's everyone else working on?
Yeah, Mr. Felpire just saying
Hello,
never
Vicky.
again. The
Hello,
Immortals are
Dave.
troop choice for life. Dom would probably agree with you on that.
Yep. I tell you what, toughness 5 troop choice with a free up save is where it's at.
Oh, I wish I had toughness 5.
Yeah.
If only. Oh God.
Last of my berserkers. Nice, Vicky. Nice. Good stuff.
She very much enjoyed using your defilers as well. So.
Well, who doesn't? Fighters are good. Mr. Blue's doing Russes. Oh my goodness. Not some sort of slang for Russians, is it? Because you've been painting them for the last few weeks.
Well, I hope you're
good
painting,
stuff.
Adam. Be nice to see
Adam
some of
might
your
be
Dark
painting.
Angels.
Very cool. Very cool. Anyone else doing some hobby tonight? Absolutely nothing. Dave is having a night off. Well, fair enough, Dave.
Yeah, fair enough. I know you had a bit of a rush job on his army for last weekend, so I think that's fair. To be honest,
Being pretty committed.
Yeah.
To his Space Wolves. Anyone else doing any hobby tonight?
Come on, people.
I know some of you are doing something. Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's some Terminator
game.
Saucer. Gavin, yeah, you sent me a picture of your slight kit bashing of your sorcerer. I think you should put that in the Discord channel.
Yes, come on. Have some commitment. Put some stuff on there. Let's see what you're doing, Gavin. Come on. Your painting's good. Don't be embarrassed by it. There we go. That's my bit of motivational speech for tonight.
Don't be embarrassed. Your painting's good. There you go. Black Timber Hellblaster squad. Oh, very cool. How many is in the squad?
Well,
10?
you
5?
can go 5 or 10, really. That's the optimal. I mean, I suppose in competitive play, the optimal is 6 and below. Sorry, 5 and below, I should say.
That 5's the minimal.
Yeah.
The 5. Yeah, lots of tiny squads. Oh, nice. Okay, that's okay. You don't have to be doing anything in particular, Jack. You're normally pretty busy as well. Doing some guard stuff normally.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna
I'm
try and get
currently
these
working on
guys
eyes.
highlighted. Eyes.
Yeah, I'm doing some of the eyes before I start doing
Eyes
just
on
blocking
sisters
them
are not
in.
actually fun.
No. No, some of them have like little extra optics on their helms, which is a bit of a pain.
I mean, I think the
Yeah.
size is a bit of a pain on them sometimes. I will admit to that because I've done a few myself now. They're just that borderline pass. I mean, they're not quite as bad as guard, to be fair.
Guard a
A
bit of a
category of
challenge.
their own.
Yeah, I've done guard eyes, and I've even put pupils in some of the eyes. So that is a mission.
You just use the single
Like,
bristle brush for that.
like that. Yeah. Pluck a hair out of my beard, bit of black painting.
Nice. Also, just a small update for you guys who were hoping for a Black Templar video at the weekend. Unfortunately, we had a bit of equipment failure from our last game, which resulted in the right channel audio turning into a crackle fest, is the only way I can best describe it. So apologies for no game. However, I think me and Dom are, I suppose we're hopefully planning to do something.
Yep, I've got a game with Dave actually tomorrow.
Nice, good.
We're gonna have some Space Wolves on the channel. So Dave Holland, who's also been a regular in the Discord and the streaming, will actually appear first time for a battle report,
Nice,
which will be
I'm
quite
looking forward
exciting.
to that, and hopefully we can arrange a game again soon, Dom. Because I must
Indeed,
admit,
we shall.
I did enjoy our little open play game the other day. It was actually a good break from the normal standard play of 40k.
Indeed, indeed, it was. Very much embraced that part. So, shall we see what is in the box?
Come on then, Dom. Let's see what you've gone and bought now.
Not Gwyneth Paltrow's head,
Well,
which is
why
normally what's in
would
the
you
box.
bring that up?
What's in the box? That's your standard Amazon style box. Let's crack this bad boy
worth
open.
it.
It better be worth it. You're
Hopefully
right.
it's parts for your big Reaver.
Reaver?
Yeah.
I put my secret project for Reaver Titan.
What's happening with your Titan, Dom? Come on.
Oh, it's there. Don't you worry, Tom.
Has
Don't
anything
you worry.
happened with it? I want some truth,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, something has happened. Oh,
okay.
Brilliant. Clearly, whoever packed this packed my Havocs. Because once again, I've got enough stuff here to supply me for a while.
That's good, though. You'd rather have that rather than broken models. So
Indeed, indeed. All right, okay. More bubble wrap. Thank you, Dave. I'm glad you got the reference. I'm sure others got the reference out there as well.
Yeah, I did get the 7 reference, don't worry. I wasn't being that...
Ooh. Kind of curious. It's quite a lot of packaging in here. I'm hoping for extras. Right. We've got a base. It's all about the base.
It's another knight, isn't it?
Oh, might be, Tom. Might be a knight. Who am I
Knights.
kidding? It is a knight. Oh!
Ooh, very silver.
I know! Saves me undercoating.
That's to fill in a little gap in your list, is it?
Yes and no. It's such a cool model.
Yeah,
it is the Desecrator.
Ah.
So the Desecrator gives it's got like a little pokey laser destroyer on it. But it also boosts War Dogs as well.
Oh,
gives a little reroll for War Dogs.
Well, that would have been useful at the weekend, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, you're right. It would have been, but you know, these things happen, Tom. Oh man, that's an awesome model. There you go. I'll put a photo up on the.
I like anything with the gauntlet on it. To be fair, I think they all look very cool.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, yeah. So was that an expensive exchange or was it kind of fair?
On eBay, it was a bit cheaper than if you purchased new.
Good.
Obviously, because it's been pre-assembled, and by the look at the pre-assembled work,
Looks pretty good to me, mate.
pretty flawless.
It's always a
Um,
gamble sometimes, but it looks like that's a pretty good job, to be honest.
yeah, no, it's really darn good. There's no obvious issues that I can see at the moment. But to be fair, most of these new kits are pretty good.
No, you can't really go wrong with them, to be honest. They're fairly well, especially the night ones. They're fairly well formulated now. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it was so much to the point where you tend to only get one kit now, don't you? And it's just like you construct it how you want it, really. So good. Well, I'll be glad. Look, I kind of want to do a doubles night list again. Sorry, not again, as in for like the first time. But it'd be very nice to try that out actually. So
yeah.
maybe this will make it possible.
Well, yeah, I have got a fair few notes now, so
Hmm.
I'm can definitely add some stuff in there. Man, it's cool. I'm liking this guy. Wow, cool.
Andy says I ended up playing two teams from London. Oh, really? Oh well, that's I don't know whether that was lucky or unlucky. Andy. I don't know how good they were. It's quite a trip to travel down from London to battle for a game, though. I must admit. Um, I mean, obviously, Andy's talking about the thing that we did the weekend because he was also there. It was very nice to see you again, my friend. Still hoping to get that game in with you at some point. Never know, one day the stars might align for a change. It's his little mascot, look.
I'm liking it. Yeah, no, that's going to be good. My little project. Yeah. So, Tom, do you want to go on about the? Should we talk about the tournament a little bit and what
Yeah.
we took and how
So,
it fared and who we played,
yeah,
etc.
sure. I mean, so me and Dom were at a doubles tournament at the weekend. So the structure was basically it's a 2,000 point list in total. Each player is responsible for bringing 1,000 points each side in the incursion format. So 1,000 points incursion rules. So essentially, one thing that did come up was you're only allowed two of each data sheet rather than three, which is normal for some of the other game types, obviously. And yeah, I bought Black Templars and Dom bought Chaos Knights, which was an interesting little combination.
Yes.
Um, I would like to
Yep.
say we did well, but that would be a lie.
Well, shall we go through our games and who we faced?
Yeah.
So our first game was against a Grey Knight and Iron Hand combo.
Hmm.
First off, it was very nice to see some of you people there. Obviously, Vicky and Dave formed another little team.
Yes.
Um, we saw Andy there as well. I
Um,
don't know if anyone else is in the
I
chat
mean, I
that was
know
there.
we invited someone well there, which was Rob. I think it's Robbie in here somewhere. He's probably not on tonight, I suspect, but he was actually a member of the team for the first matchup we had, which was Grey Knights and Iron Hands. And I think it would be fair to say that we got fairly spanked in that game.
It was pretty hard going.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so briefly, there was 3 Dreadnoughts, as in 2 normal and 1 HQ one. And some other little bits. They're not really key features in the Grey Knight list, were they? They were kind of like, we've got to take these. Might as well put
Yeah.
them in. And then the Iron Hands were 2 Leviathans with the old
Mm.
autocannon.
I believe there
Uh,
was two Tech Marines as well.
2 Tech Marines behind the Leviathans. What else
Uh,
was there? In
and
the
there was some
intercessors and
infiltrators, I think. Yeah,
infiltrators.
infiltrator
Yeah,
squads. And a bit of an education in how they play together.
yeah,
Quite frankly, because
very well.
yes, it was a fairly painful match for myself and Dom. That one, I think it ended up. So, for those of you familiar with BCP points, I think it was 98 to 24, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah. We had a bit of bad. We had good luck and bad luck. So
Yeah.
the good luck was so we deployed a tyrant on the side. So I took a chaos tyrant and a couple of war
Mm.
dogs. Tyrant took a volley of shots from two of the dreadnoughts and a little bit from one of the leviathans. Kind of shrugged most of it off. Did take about 10 wounds in the end, but survived a great deal of pain. Um, and I think your stuff suffered quite a bit. Your impulses got shot a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, the education bit came from actually not reading that hunter killer missiles, for instance, are actually strength 10, which I didn't realise. However, I think even Dom was a bit surprised by that one, because I think we both were under the impression they were strength 8, if I remember correctly.
You were a bit taken aback,
I
Thomas.
was, and they assisted in destroying my impulsers quite effectively. And then basically I'd taken Blade Guard veterans, a chaplain, and the Emperor's Champion. It's kind of like I think that was basically the core of the list. And unfortunately, yeah, it was just a bit too much firepower to deal with because both the Leviathans were also equipped with dual storm cannons, and due to Iron Hand trickery, they were able to hit on twos,
Rerolling ones.
rerolling ones.
Yeah, so your impulses got impulsidified.
Yeah, so it's fair to say that it was fairly one-sided. I mean, the two people we played against were very enjoyable to play with anyway, so it wasn't like at the end of the world. It was just a little bit, I suppose, maybe disappointing from our point of view because I think we
Yeah,
thought
I
we had.
think so. We did well. From my point of view, the tyrant
Mm,
survived a big volley
yeah,
of shots. And then when it came back to shooting, we were kind of fluffed. We had an opportunity to take out two of the dreadnoughts.
yeah,
Killed one. The other one, it just fluffed and didn't do anything with. So then we're still stuck with two dreadnoughts
yes.
roaming around the battlefield, and the leviathans were still untouched. So we're just hacking back at dreadnoughts and light infantry. And yeah, it was a hard game once the impulses
Mm.
were popped and your guys had to slowly stroll across
Walk
the
across the
battlefield,
field into
doing
gunline. Oh,
volley
into
after
yeah,
volley.
yeah. It was rather painful because obviously the intention was that Dom was supposed to be doing a fair amount of damage while I walked up the field to claim objectives. Really, that was in a nutshell. And our second game, I think we adjusted tactics slightly.
Yep.
Um,
So second game was against Sisters of Battle and Imperial Knights.
it was almost a mirror matchup from the Knight's point of view.
Yeah,
Uh,
so he had the long range knight with the plasma and the laser
Volcano
destroyer,
cannon.
volcano cannon, and obviously I had the harpoon and the flamer.
Mm,
So we got first turn. Missile fired, battle cannons firing, did a bit of damage. We then had war dogs firing in as well, so we took the knight down to 15 wounds, I
yeah.
believe, in the first volley of shots. So that was pretty good. But I believe he was playing House of Vulcan, was it? Was it
No, it
Vulcan?
was
Or the one
a Hawk Shroud, which gives him
Hawk
the
Shroud?
same thing you had, where the knight counts as double
Yeah,
wounds. So
yeah,
it didn't really make that much of a difference, sadly. No matter how much we took it down, because I think we had to get it down to 7 to start
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
a big
Decrease.
difference. And actually, I felt that game could have gone either way. Actually,
Yes,
um,
absolutely.
yeah,
We were tied up until turn three. In fact, we might have even had the lead until turn three.
yes,
And then suddenly, when units started just disappearing, we lost the advantage, and they were all over our objectives. And yeah, at the end of it, the last man standing was your chaplain
yeah.
in the center of the battlefield, surrounded by
By
the
knights.
remaining sisters and knights.
Because the Emperor's Champion decided to go on a little duel with Morgan Val,
Yep.
which actually went rather well considering the quality of the unit he was facing.
Yeah.
And I think actually it would have been the fight would have been a bit more in our favour if Morganval hadn't got the fight again option.
Yep. And killed the Emperor's champion.
Yeah, because it was one wound I got her down to. I think it was a two or something silly with the Emperor's Champion. But unfortunately, because she got to fight again, I couldn't retaliate in that manner, sadly. So, and then that was actually probably our downfall, I think, because that running around the board with all the rerolls and the various other units that the Sister Battle have was a little bit too much for us to handle.
Yeah, I think we got her down to one wound. eventually, and then one of my exploding war dogs finished her off, sending
Yes.
shrapnel into her armor, and finally killing her, which was quite pleasant. So yeah, that was it was a fun game. And like I said, after turn 3, turn 4, it started going a bit downhill, and then turn
Sadly.
5, it was all over by turn 5. We were just there for a bit of a
To be
laugh.
fair, I would rate that as one of our funnest games of the weekend. Though that was, I had a good laugh with both of them during the game. So they were very similar. I think similarly matched in humour, which helped.
Yep, definitely.
Then our third game
was against Necrons and Emperor's Children.
Interesting matchup.
Yeah, definitely. So it's quite nice to end the game against two armies that I'm relatively familiar with.
Yes.
I was like, oh, Necrons and Chaos. Right, get these guys. I got one wound. Let's teach them a lesson.
And we and technically we did really.
Yeah.
To be fair. I think overall in that game, I think your knight proved quite instrumental in clearing out a lot of the Necrons.
The Tyrant was untouchable. He took a couple of hits from gas flayers to start with. He lost a couple of wounds, and then essentially just destroyed everything he went up against. Like, I think he took 2 squads of maybe
Warriors, wasn't it?
2 or 3 squads of Necron Warriors. Yeah, he took a few squads of Necron Warriors.
I think it was definitely 2.
Yeah, and then did some wounds to the Satan by firing a couple of missiles in there. And I was trying to harpoon it. They had a demon prince on the center. I was like, please let this harpoon do something. And unfortunately, he got in combat with your guys, and we decided just to leave him in there. But it did harpoon some scarabs.
She killed the demon prince, though. So
yeah, but that was a very enjoyable game. I had a nice time with all 3 games, to be honest.
Yeah, and we won the last one.
Yes,
I think
we won that one.
I think we could have done a little bit better in some of the games. Some of it was down to luck. Others was down to maybe a couple of tactical decisions that we got wrong. But ultimately, because playing a team game is quite rare at the moment, I think if we did it again, we would probably do things slightly differently. I think.
Absolutely.
But let's say live and learn.
So Andy, how did you do in the end?
Oh dear, Andy, I see your last game was as painful as our first one.
So, Tom, while we wait for Andy to come back and tell us how he did, I think it might be worth talking about. I would say the Games Workshop post about the racism thing.
Yes,
I don't think we spoke about that. Have we spoken about? I don't think we did speak about it.
It only came out the other day. I don't think it was definitely after the last stream we had anyway. This is the one about Warhammer is for everyone, not also the Imperium. I'm trying to remember the tagline for it now.
Essentially, the Imperium is a horrible place.
Horrible place, but Warhammer is for everyone. I think that was the intention of it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, as much. I mean, you know me. I'm not a huge person to get involved with, big movements and things like this. But as you know, I have a very core set of ideals, and ultimately, I abhor any form of racism, sexism, all that kind of stuff. It's not my bag at all. And ultimately, that's the message they're trying to send out, that the game is supposed to be inclusive for everyone who plays it.
Yeah.
And I can't really disagree with it, to be honest. Personally, I don't really care who plays the game, who I play with, as long as I have a good time. That's really what my goal is. And anyone who brings those subjects in a negative way, I think doesn't really deserve to play in the game.
And it's come back there. First game we won by 10 points. No, nice. Yeah. I mean, essentially, it's kind of came out from a Spanish GT.
Yeah, with some certain symbolism, which I'm not gonna give any kind of acknowledgement to what those symbols were, but they were not appropriate for any place, let alone a Warhammer tournament.
No, no. So yeah, people were complaining about it, about the attire of this individual, who also had a dubious team name as well. So it was a team event by the sound of it. It wasn't just a
It's
singles
even
event.
worse in my opinion because it means you had to find someone who signed up with you to agree with that as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's yeah. What do you do about that if your
Yeah, quite.
teammate suggests that as a name, and you obviously know what their political views are? So yeah, it's yeah, not good for anyone involved in that
Let
whatsoever.
alone a wargaming
Um,
community. You know, it's just
let alone
overall
walking.
it's just very poor form, as Captain Hook would say, bad form.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, they complained to the event organisers about said person, and the event organisers asked that person to leave. That person then said they'd report them to the police.
Interesting,
So,
interesting method of dealing with it, really, isn't it?
mm, so unfortunately, we're stuck with this person. It was, oh yeah, must have been a very horrible atmosphere there
Yes, I
to
would not
be.
want to be, and luckily I can say that I don't think I've been at an event like that in the UK with anywhere near as much of an issue like that at all. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, yeah. I think something also to keep in mind is that obviously this hobby is played globally, and particular countries have got bigger right movements that are
Yes,
probably more
prevalent.
emboldened to show their views.
And
So I think it's a good move by GW, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, obviously the prevailing wind, as they say, is definitely not with them. You know, it's just unfortunately, as with all these things, is they tend to get the more airtime because it's more controversial.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, yeah, it's a shame it had to be to come up.
Because
But I think the positive is
yeah.
that people stood up to them, and Games Workshop also backed them up on that.
hmm as I would expect them to as well, because I think they are very much in line with that way of thinking, regardless of what anyone says about them. Um, so yeah, well there we go. Let's dump that out of this hobby right now, in my opinion.
Mm, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to think that no one has encountered anything like that that I know of.
I would like to
Uh,
hope so, but you know, honestly, you just don't know. A lot of people have very hidden agendas nowadays, so you don't really know what you're getting into sometimes, I suppose.
yeah, absolutely.
Because people can be very different people when they're speaking to your face, and then behind closed doors, you suddenly find out that actually,
Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Mr. Felpass saying that's mad. I had no idea that happened. Yet it did, Sam. And like I said, luckily, I don't think I've heard of an occasion of that happening in the UK at the moment, which is very positive for our community at least. I mean, I've seen some odd behaviour, but nothing on that scale of nastiness, I suppose, or ignorance, I suppose would be the better word.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we're very fortunate in this country, um, to have that in a very limited kind of window. But yeah, no, well done, GW.
hmm
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else has been released by the big GW this week.
Um, I mean, I could always have a quick look if you'd like.
Have a little gander, Thomas.
I shall have a look because I must admit it's been a bit of a whirlwind week or so, and I haven't really been paying full attention to everything that's been going on. But obviously, for those who weren't aware, the Black Templar stuff is out this weekend. If you didn't know that, I assume if you're a fan of this channel and me, you probably knew about this already because you're probably a Black Templar fan. Um, let's have a look what was on today. Well, for today, they've got From Chicken to Dragon to the Sons of Dracothin, the evolution of dragons in Warhammer. There's a little piece on dragons in Warhammer on there at the moment. Ah, yes.
I read that earlier. Actually, it's quite good. It's a good blast from the past because some of those dragons I did actually own, like that the old fantasy, like probably second or third edition ones.
Oh.
The Chaos one with like 2 heads. I had that one. That was quite cool. There's a couple other nice ones there as well. But the new dragons, wow, they've come a long way.
Well, yeah, I mean, they used to be much more. Obviously, I have seen some. The old dragons used to be very much in a kind of a worm style, a very thin
Yeah.
body with not a lot going on. Whereas, cause obviously, that's probably easier to mold. In all seriousness, yeah, it was just probably an easier model to actually create. Whereas now you're getting these big, much more stronger looking things with broader bodies and
Perks
stuff.
of
Yeah,
CAD design and plastic, isn't it? Rather
indeed.
than hand sculpted and
Well,
metal in a
multi-part models. That's the thing, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, having
yeah,
that's the biggest change, I think, in the
yeah.
fact that
I
you
mean,
can.
like owning a couple of those dragons, they were a nightmare after a while because lots of joints in like the actual like body. Like you said, the body's very slim, so it all kind of jointed together there. So they would quite happily just snap in half, or yeah, yeah, not good.
And I also noticed for anyone who's on the Warhammer community site, they've changed the cursor to a dragon.
Oh, there you
Nice little
go.
touch. There was also that was the other thing. Armies on Parade winners got released as well, which I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet.
Oh, nice. Is there any pictures of the winner?
I don't think so. I think they did is this the one here? I mean, there's some very nice stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
But
I keep thinking I'll do one for the local GW, and then I saw a picture from our local GW. I was like, wow, no way you can even come to close to that. That was amazing. I think our one was like an orc kind of. Pretty sure this is a GW nearby, like an orc, 40k orc, like dock.
Oh yeah.
And it had like submersibles and stuff. And I was like, that is wow,
Oh
brilliant.
cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. That sounds nice and interesting. Suppose maybe Aaron did it.
EB.
There's also currently a competition running. Well, I say a competition. It's basically if you spend £10 on GW, that you get entered into a prize draw, which is currently running. So if anything purchased between 22nd and the 1st of January, you can win. I think all the initial releases for the next year.
Wow.
Which is quite a nice prize, to be fair.
Pretty mega. Shame
I'm,
about there's going to be no Chaos Codex, otherwise I'd be involved in that.
I've just accidentally closed something, Dom, and I hope it hasn't killed our stream.
No, no, we're still
We're
going,
still live,
Thomas.
are we?
Yep.
I'll just make sure I can get back on there.
Yep. So guys, what hobby stuff have you been doing this week? Obviously, myself and Tom have done a bit of gamey stuff. Obviously, a little bit of purchasing as well. I've recorded a couple of little videos that are coming up very soon.
US Dragon Rise look awesome. Yes, I think they do, Jack. I must admit. Oh, excuse me, sir.
Excused. You are excused.
Just popping a can. There we go.
Well, guys, what hobby stuff have you all been up to?
Let's hear
Must be something
your lovely
amazing.
stories. Come on. So I must admit, I've been quite, I suppose, inspired to get on with repainting my Templars, as you're probably aware of, Dom. Obviously, I've been doing quite a bit of repainting older models, or older painted models anyway. Which has been quite a drive for me to get this new highlighting scheme on them, because I think it actually does add a nice difference to our models. So yeah, I mean that's quite an interesting subject actually. I mean, how many people have gone back to an army they've already painted and gone, do you know what, I can do better, and actually said, how am I going to, redo these? And looking at some of my slightly older models, some of my original Space Marines, I kind of look and go, I'm going to have to respray them probably to get the same effect. Whereas the newer paint schemes I've done for my Primaris stuff, I'm very much like, you know, so Sam's just asked the question I'm hopefully answering at the moment, which is basically, are you stripping them first or just touch up? So I think from what I'm kind of going through at the moment, anything that I've done in the last maybe couple of years, I think is more than happy to do a touch up on, because as people who follow the channel remember, a few years ago, it must be 2 years ago, I changed all weapons to a red color and redid all the weapons on them, and that was easy peasy because obviously that's a weapon. It's already undercoated because I think I already had them as black, so going over them red, not a problem at all. And as Dom knows, a long time ago when I first started Templar Army, I used to use the hard coat finish on the models.
Yeah, I remember, Tom.
And those ones will definitely have to be a full respray if I was to go back and do those, because it just doesn't quite go over in as nice a manner over hard coat, because you get a very shiny finish anyway. So those will probably just be a respray, I suspect, depending if I want to keep them. The more I'm going back and looking at older models, the more I'm looking at going, are these going to be around for the next iteration of Space Marines? And as much as I don't want to fuel any fires that people have burning about, oh, they're never going to get rid of firstborns and this. I'm sorry, but I honestly think that firstborn Marines will gradually die out over a it'll be a slightly longer period of years, I suspect. But I think eventually, just because the range needs the refresh, just in general, I don't think they're going to do another firstborn Space Marine sculpt kit, because it doesn't make any sense. Don't know how you feel about that, Dom. I think.
I don't. So firstborn, I don't think there's going to be a kit. I think they are going to be releasing individual models from time to time, but I think a kit is probably a no-go on that one.
And here is the reason why. These are scouts, basically. Primaris scouts. And these are obviously the Marines. And these are the Primaris scouts. And that's why I think, having seen the Black Templar sculpts for the new scout model, which is basically what it is in my opinion, they do look a lot cooler than the scouts as well. and for that, I suppose you can kind of you can maybe forgive them for maybe relegating scouts to a kind of elite role, because I think eventually they'll become Primaris scouts anyway, and it won't necessarily be a problem. That's my feeling on it anyway. What have we got here? Dave Holland. No hobby this week. Instead, got game against Dom tomorrow, which is, looking forward to watching that, hopefully. Practice game on Friday against Orcs for the singles yet, because Dave is also, he's coming to, I suppose, quite a tournament player, old Dave, isn't he? He's
doing his tournament-y thingy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really pushed on with that. And Andy says, my son used Firstborn versus Necrons this evening, and they still hold up in my opinion. Sangrini Guard and the Tech Marines look great. And Scouts, yes. Yes, Andy, in all seriousness, Firstborn Marines, in my opinion, there's very little difference between them and Primaris.
Tell you what I like about Firstborn Marines compared to Primaris is that they've got a lot more kit bashability than Primaris Marines, in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah, so I think that's where they're going to be able to hold up still for a while. And I think, like, rules-wise, you can still use them easily.
They've got utility as well. They've got much more utility than Primaris, because obviously you can take missile launchers, melter, lots of stuff on them. There's no real limit on them. Whereas obviously Primaris is much more pigeonholed into a particular job. Like, if you want anti-tank now, you have to get Eradicators. Really, that is effectively the Devastator version of Primaris Marines.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, it only comprises of one weapon, which is very boring, really. But actually, I don't think I've seen any missile launcher stuff for the new Primaris models at all. Actually, thinking about it, I don't think they actually have a missile launcher anymore.
Good
That
question.
seems just not been added. So Azafel says, planning a permanent hobby space to allow working from home and painting. That is always a good option. As I always consider myself quite privileged and lucky to have an entire room for my gaming PC and my hobby stuff and everything like that in here. It makes my life a lot easier. So I always exactly Azafel, having to tidy away each evening. Lack of space, I understand that completely. You had to clear your desk away so you can actually do your other stuff here. It's actually quite nice to have a dedicated table. I mean, Dom's the perfect example of this particular of the ultimate setup in a. Obviously, I know your hobby spaces. You probably think 1,000 things to make it even better, but
but then exactly. Think
yeah,
where we've come from.
yeah, exactly.
Like from recording a battle report on my dining room table, filming it, and then having to pack it all away before the next day. So no, absolutely. There's always things I'd like to do here to make it better, but at the same, I'm very lucky, fortunate to have a dedicated space. So I know a lot of people have to hide their models on top of wardrobe or something like that. So like when before he moved, I'd have my hobby cupboard in my my daughter's bedroom, like in the corner. So before she go to bed, I'd be like getting my hobby bits out because once I got there's no chance to even get in that room. So yeah, very fortunate to have that. Yeah, Andy, I feel your pain. Yeah, I've got a heater going on in the background here to keep some form of heat going.
Icicles on his bed.
Where were we? Talking about redoing armies. Repainting armies. I mean, I've only really rebased armies. I've rebased my guard army. That was a lot of scraping with a Stanley blade and redoing. But I don't know. I think there's an element where you look at your old models and you kind of go, "Ooh,
yeah,
that's not great," and then you compare it to your newer models. But I don't know. I think part of me is still quite nostalgic to how I painted stuff previously.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to keep that, especially with my word bearers. I've been doing this for, I don't know how long I don't know, 5-6 years. Been kind of working through my word bearers, and it's quite nice to compare my original Chaos Space Marine squad to the newer ones, and kind of go, look, I've come a long way. Or my Mauler Fiends are a prime example where I've got my old ones and then compare it to my new ones. It's quite nice. I think my old ones still hold up against the newer ones as well. And they kind of tell a story as well, especially from, that nostalgic part of me where I played a game, like when I went off to play one of our first collaborations, I played Ace Face. And I remember taking my Mauler Fiend there, or when we went to play Commissar Warwick, and we had those particular ones. I'm like, yeah, these are brilliant. So yeah, they all tell a little tale, don't they? But I could definitely see your point of view when you're like, oh, actually, I've done this. This looks amazing. And you look at the others, you're like, I could just touch these up. For instance, my guard tanks. When I've taken to events, I've always, and my stormtroopers as well, gone back through and like I've added a bit of weathering or a little bit of highlighting here, or done a little bit here and there. So yeah.
I
But
think,
the whole army.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things where you look at things, you pick and choose. For instance, I agree with you on like my Crusader squad and stuff. I'm probably not going to do anything with them now, because I don't think it's worth the time and effort, really. And ultimately they're where they are now. But anything that I've done in the last couple of years, where it's kind of a brand new model where the paint's fairly fresh on it, I can touch them up in the style that I want, because I switched to as you know, I haven't listened to my older models probably, Dom. You know, I went with a very dirty style originally. I used to really put a lot of mud on the boots and lots of flecks of damage and stuff like that, which I enjoyed doing. But now I've gone for the much more, I suppose, a cleaner style of painting for my Marines. And so,
crisp.
so touching those up is really easy. It's very much like, I can just, especially edge highlighting. It's like, cause I've already done a grey edge highlight on a lot of it. I'm like, well, it doesn't change too much. I just got to make it a bit brighter and put the stuff over, and it pretty much takes care of itself. Whereas there's old models. Actually, I've got an example right here. Actually, 1 second. You saw this one the other day, actually, Dom.
Has anyone else repainted an army?
This chap.
Man, I love that Dreadnought.
Yeah, no, so do I. And having had it out, I'm like, I look at it and I go, oh, I could do such a better job on it now, you know. And because
Yeah.
it's such an iconic model, because you can't buy this anymore. This is gone. I look at it and go, this is probably worth a full strip down and actual repaint, you know, because there's a lot of really cool icon. Oh, sorry, I'll hold it up again for those who didn't quite. I don't know if it's focusing very well.
Can't really quite
Better,
make that out. It's...
better.
Probably put a picture up on Discord, mate.
Yeah,
Or on
I'll just
Instagram.
try one thing. Hang on a minute. Ah, that'll do. Come here. Let's try this quickly. Is that going? Aha!
There you go.
There. So this is the
oh,
old Templar Dreadnought that you used to be able to buy on Forge World, which, as you can see, has a lot of nice iconography on it, and slightly different chest plates, and it's kind of how you imagine a Templar knight to look as in a Dreadnought to look, because it's lots of cool banners and stuff. But it's also back when I used to use, for some insane reason, I used to use a grey on my banners, and I don't know why. We all make these really weird decisions at some point when we're painting things, and you're kind of like, oh, I could make that look a lot better. So yeah, I'm probably going to redo him, I think, and have another good crack at it, and make it more into my current style, which I think would look quite nice. I mean, it's interesting though, when you look at the model, when you look at the las cannon, it's like, I remember this old style las cannon you used to be able to get. It looks so different to what you have now. Yeah, it's so different. Just the quality of the, I mean, obviously this is resin as well, because it's an old, it's Forge World anyway. It just looks extremely different.
It's a very nice model, isn't it?
Yeah, and Captain Jack says, for older stuff that looks bad, I generally weather them. I generally weather them to the irons now. Hate stripping and repairing guard. Yeah, no, I try to avoid stripping models where I can, because it's, as Don will probably tell you, as we've both done a couple of things now and then, it is a pain to strip models to a quality where you can repaint it.
Yeah.
Because I think you did a Vindicator, didn't you, at one point? Because I think I let you buy a strip for it, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I've used all sorts.
Yeah.
I mean, Dettol was my pretty much go-to, because it's very easy to get. You just walk into a supermarket and get it. I've stripped metal models with Dettol, easy as anything. Just pop it in, give it a couple of days, you scrape it off with an old toothbrush, and away you go. So I've done a few models of that, which I've highly recommend.
Resin's the tough one.
I haven't done resin. I've done plastic. So I did 10 warp talons that I had painted from someone else. I stripped them. That was a nightmare. I definitely do not recommend tiny detail models, especially spiky models, stripping them with Dettol and doing them. I've done a couple of tanks. I've done probably 3 rhinos and a Vindicator, which aren't too bad, to be honest. It takes a bit of time.
Plastic's fine. But as Dave says, biostrip on plastic works almost flawlessly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, don't use that on resin. Anyone who's thinking do not do that, because it goes spongy. I haven't actually done that. I just happened to, while I was doing my research, and I happened to find that out, and because I was planning on doing it on some resin models. But yeah, you have to be very careful with resin, because it reacts very differently to a lot of the strippers you use on. I think Dettol's okay with those, isn't it?
I haven't used Dettol with it. I've not been brave enough to get a Forge World model and go bloop. No, that didn't work.
Yes, Andy, that is also true. However, sometimes that is not a bad thing, because I've had a couple of models that I've done that I actually wouldn't mind reposing. So as long as you don't do it in the wrong place where you lose bits down like a plug hole, I haven't done that before. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I've had that as well with Dettol, when it slowly takes them apart. So you've got to make sure, like, get an ice cream tub, for instance. That's my go-to, and then just be scrubbing it in the tub with the Dettol, and then you'll kind of, like, bits will fall off, which you're guaranteed. Like I say, if you know it's going to happen, don't worry. But if you put it in a sink and go, oh, that's gone. Where's that heavy bolter gone? Just be aware it's going to happen, and then just kind of strip it. Get a bit of like kitchen towel.
Yeah.
Just put the bits on the
And just
kitchen
leave it
towel.
on there
And
for a day.
also run it under the tap as well, because
Yeah.
you kind of want to remove as much as you can and clean off and see where you are. And
Exactly.
sometimes you've got to revisit it and do a bit more, but you've got to make sure you get it out of whatever material you're doing it in and put it on the side
Yeah.
to dry off. Yeah. But yeah, I've had it where the plastic gets a little bit soft, and you're like, right, just leave it.
Don't
done.
touch that anymore.
Leave it for now. Let it dry off.
Don't pause more death. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Glug, glug.
Look at my bendy sword.
Yeah. Fine cast, eat your heart out.
Oh dear. And I would probably be especially careful of anything you may have bought from a non-affiliated company of Games Workshop as well, because there's no way you can vouch for the quality of the plastic that you have purchased, I suspect.
Well, even some of the old school Games Workshop plastic, there's been some dodgy boxes that I've had in the past where you're like, that is not good quality plastic in there. More the older ones than the new ones.
Yeah, because it was the old one was a kind of a paler, was it? It's kind of a much more paler version of the darker grey plastic you get nowadays. And I
think
know
they must have changed
Yeah.
manufacturer at some point, and they've got different batches.
Yeah, but ultimately, I would always recommend, if you're not happy with it and you've got the willpower to do it, because it's really worthwhile actually, especially if you're very unhappy with your original paint job. Don't sell it and get rid of it and get another lot to do it. It is worth the time. It's kind of what I'm getting at, in my opinion, to do.
Oh well, look, here's one. I've got one here that I had a metal Katachan lieutenant. Oh, you can't see it here.
No
it's far
way.
too bright.
Yeah.
But I stripped it, and it's kind of sharpened up the metal again. So it's just on my side, kind of going. Oh, one day I can repaint them and put it in my guard army. So I just love old metal models. They're like one of my favorites because they've got so much character behind them, and the nostalgic kind of like 80s and 90s look, I think, is absolutely amazing.
I don't
great.
I don't think I've got many metal models left now. I think the main metal model army I did have was my Sister Battle original army, because obviously they did that in pewter or whatever it was. It was
Yeah, they never plastic tank, but everything else.
It was and that was actually more of a conversion anyway. It wasn't really a plastic tank, so to speak. You had to add metal to some of them as well. I remember the old Exorcist. You probably remember the old Exorcist, Tom.
Weighed a ton.
Yeah, weighed a ton, and every time you literally just knocked it slightly, the organ would fall apart, or the stuff would fall off the front of the chassis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had the old metal Abaddon, and I must have been like 17, maybe. I had it, and I put so much super glue in this particular point, like the Talon of Horus must have come out by about an inch. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because back then you don't think about, I better file off the old stuff first.
No,
no.
Keep adding. Scrape it.
Keep adding. It's fine.
Or one of my first metal models was the Orc and Goblin Rock Clobber. So the catapult. And once again, so much super glue putting in there. Because they just fell apart. Yeah. It was just, you'd have to do so much work.
Because back then you didn't even think about things like pinning. Because you just didn't
you just want to make it.
You didn't have the knowledge as well,
yeah.
So you didn't even think about that. But nowadays you'd think, if I just drilled a little hole in there, put a little bit of metal pin in, it'll probably stay on. But now you learn so much just by doing, really. So yeah.
And I think as well, the thing to remember, like back then, like I've been in this hobby for can't remember a very long time.
Longer than me,
you
mate.
didn't have the sources of information that you do now. Like honestly, if you learn about pinning or stripping a model, you've got YouTube, you've got Google, you've got Facebook. You can go and learn.
Back then, you had to hope it turned up in your magazine of choice.
Yeah,
exactly. You had to hope that particular article was in there.
Yeah, that article will appear in one of White Dwarf.
I've bought this one. It's got one wanted in it. Whereas it may have turned up. You're like, I don't have enough money to buy that last month. Oh well.
Yeah.
Andy saying, I remember drilling and pinning all the big meta models. Nice. And the old Captain says the old grey plastic like played it. Yes, you're quite correct. But yeah, obviously it's quite a nostalgic subject in certain ways. Because it's things like that, when you, before I before I properly got into Warhammer, I had a friend from actually before I even met Dom. This was a long time ago when I was a private school boy. For those who don't know, for a few years before I joined the public school system, um, I had a friend who played it, and he sort of tried to introduce me to it, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, But he showed me that back then you had like a catalogue, for Christ's sake, you know, that you order the models from, and I remember going through, and I thought, oh, this is amazing, but back now you wouldn't even think it's such a weird concept now because of, as Dom says, that the advances we've had in technology have allowed us to have such access to information, models, ordering, everything like that. It's almost a bit alien looking back at it now, if that makes sense. It's very odd.
Yeah, and the back of White Dwarves, you'd used to be able to order each individual part for a particular vehicle or a marine, and you go, instead of like going, oh, I've got to buy the whole model and use that part, you go, actually, I just want to order that one particular part for that one model. And brilliant. But obviously now everything's plastic. You have to buy the sprue.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Games Workshop do. Just kind of have these.
I mean, it's almost kind of sad they don't have that as an option.
Mm.
I mean, they must have offcuts from all the stuff they design for their dioramas and stuff. If you think about it, it's a shame that you can't order particular parts.
Maybe you can. Maybe you can. Maybe if you contact GW directly and say, look, I only want this particular sprue. Can you sell it to me? Maybe they do. Maybe it's one of those like little
secret menus.
They have.
Secret menu.
Yeah. A bit like you go to McDonald's, you go, can I have this, and this on my burger? And they'll be like, how did he know we could do that?
You ring him up and you press like 666. And it's like, oh, hello, you're through to the special order hotline. Oh, you're still going? Yeah. What do you want? Oh, I've got this magazine from 1980. Oh yeah, we got that one. Just tell me what number you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Captain Jet says, me and my mate used to blue tack and super glue some metal models. To be fair, Vicky was using blue tack a few weekends ago when she had her Leviathan Dreadnought with the new siege claws on it. The siege drills on it, because she had to blue tack them on for a game with Dave actually. So that is still going on, Jack. Blue tack is still a valid modelling tool, in my opinion.
I had my first vehicle was a Rhino, and it was like the old school Rhino, not the one we're all used to now, but an old one. And I remember kind of making it chaosy because chaos. And blue tack with super glue is an amazing like putty to use. So like, a bit of blue tack, right? Super glue. We're done.
Just not when you want to take it off.
A poor man's green stuff.
Poor man's green stuff.
Blue tack and super glue.
Oh dear. Right. I'm just going to be 2 seconds, Dom, because I seem to have drunken far too much liquid this evening. I'll be 1 second.
Right, remember to turn your mic off, Tom. We don't want to repeat it last time.
Mic off.
Oh no, people, I don't think he's turned it off. I think we could be in trouble here. Bit of a naked gun situation coming up. Well, as Tom's gone, let's talk about TV, and we'll talk about it when he gets back as well. It's not going to miss out. Has anyone been watching that cowboy bebop thingy on Netflix? I've started watching it. I haven't watched the animation one, the anime one. I think I watched like half an hour of one of the anime ones, but I'm actually quite enjoying the live action one. It's a bit different. Let me know if you guys have been watching it. If not, I recommend just checking it out. You might enjoy it. It does, yeah. I watched the trailer. I was like, oh, maybe give it a go. But the main cast are pretty good, actually.
Mic on.
Oh, he's back. Hello, welcome back. All sorted? That's good. That's good. Yeah, Jack, recommend go check it out on the old Netflix if you have that. Give it a little watchy, a
I
little
was watching
gander.
Wheel of Fire. Wheel of Fire? Do you not mean Wheel of Time? That's the new one out on Amazon at the moment. I know if Daryl was here, he'd be trumpeting his calls on that one.
Do, 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 do.
I'm trying to think if I've watched anything. Oh, do you know what? I watched one that I know you'd like, Dom.
What's that?
I watched Face Off the other night.
Actually, I was watching a something online about Nicolas Cage earlier, about his acting technique.
Oh dear.
And they were like, "Is he just insane, or is he like some sort of acting like guru?" And I'll tell you what, I'm biased in this.
Yeah.
I know which way I'm going, but no, it's quite interesting. But yeah, Face Off is a classic.
But do you know what? Obviously, speaking about Nicolas Cage being a bit mad, I think Face Off is the perfect film to watch him in for that, because the facial expressions that he does in that are just utterly insane. I forgot, obviously his big smile with his teeth. It's just like, my God.
He's just brilliant. I don't know what it is about him. I love it.
No, he's honestly, I agree. He's you get with Nicolas Cage, you get what you get with him. He's such a I wouldn't say he's like a grade A-lister kind of classic actor, but you get what you get with him, and I think actually what he does is it's a particular style which is actually quite cool.
Yeah, that's what they're kind of getting at in this little video I was watching. That we kind of look at things such as music, and people can be quite experimental with music and kind of go off and try new things, and we go, wow, it's amazing, well done, you've defied the genre. Or with gaming as well, oh, amazing. But with acting, somehow we're like, what's he playing at? That's not how people act.
Now, Adam, you said he's only done 2 good films. Now, I'm going to go. I'm going to see if I think I know which 2 films you're... he's done the same one, exactly what I was going to say, Face Off and Con Air.
What about Gone in 60 Seconds?
Gone in 60 Seconds, I agree with that as well. That's awesome. National Treasure.
National Treasure's a good one as well.
Both 1 and 2 are actually very good in that. With that, we're going to try and pick up Nicolas Cage tonight now, Dom.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Yeah.
You must have
Matchstick Men. Have you ever seen
Matchstick Men? Yes, that is a very good film.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
The Rock. The Rock. Yes. Oh, sorry, Adam. Go on, off you go, mate.
Yeah, come on.
That's gone from 2 to 6 already, so you're already losing this one.
Oh, what are the other ones he's done? Raising Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up his filmography.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go through a bit of Nick Cage. What's everyone's Windtalkers? Windtalkers is good. It's not my favourite war film, but it's got some good bits in it. Lord of War, yeah.
Lord of War, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. I've actually got them up there. I'm just having a look through. I'm just seeing which ones jump out, which are Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
I quite like that myself. That was actually not bad.
Oh, is it the Last Witch Hunter or something like that? Or
yeah.
Or what's the one with the witch? I like that. I thought that was good.
Drive Angry.
Yep.
I like Drive Angry. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm not far off you on my Nicolas Cage. 8mm.
8mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen. No, I have seen that. I can't quite remember it. I have
boxing
seen
one when there's like a murder.
Yeah.
And he's got to solve the murder.
Season of the Witch is the one you're looking for.
Season of the Witch. That's the one.
He also, let's have a look through here. Oh god, I will admit there's quite a few bad ones in here.
Bad Lieutenant's meant to be good. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's good.
I've seen that's on his list of Nicolas Cage filmography. Here we go. Let's go through here. Oh my, he's done a lot of films.
Adam, I can't say I'm angry at you.
I didn't realise he was in Spider-Man Spider-Verse as well.
Yes, he is. He is
Peter Parker Spider-Man Noir.
Noir one, yeah, it's the black and white one. Yeah. And of course, he was going to be Superman, wasn't he, allegedly? When Tim Burton was going to direct
That wouldn't have been a good idea.
No, he looked good. He had a mullet.
No.
Mullet Superman. Imagine if Tim Burton did like the Justice League.
Oh
How
God.
amazing would that be? It'd be so twisted. It'd be amazing. Weatherman, yeah.
Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
Oh, that is a good film.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, Adam.
Film.
Go on.
Come on.
Sling your hook,
Good
Adam.
name's probably a good.
Yeah.
See, look, as a film. Yeah.
However, when it goes back further, it does get a little bit sketchy. So
It's got some good stuff.
it's interesting though.
Good actor.
The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off all came out in 96, 97.
Busy years.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about Ghost Rider.
I don't know. See, Ghost Rider, like I was saying, if you can watch Ghost Rider and accept Nick Cage as Nick Cage, I think it's a good film. If you don't, if you watch it not knowing who Nicolas Cage is, you'll be like, "What is going on? This is not right." But I think if you watched it and going, "Yep, he's doing his stuff."
Yeah. Anyway, Adam. So there you go, mate. Oh, he's saying name the bad film stream. I mean,
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
so, as much as I know Dom has a particular soft spot for Mr. Cage, I don't realize he did the Croods as well. I haven't watched the Croods myself. It's that animated.
Yeah, see the caveman-y one.
Yeah.
I've watched it. I don't know who he is in it, but I have watched.
Grug.
I don't know.
He plays Grug.
I don't know. They're all cavemen with names like Grug and Brug and blah.
I assume he's the dad of the group.
Maybe.
That's where I would go with it anyway, personally.
But you can't really tell. Like, I mean, animated Nick Cage is not animated Nick Cage.
I mean, whereas myself, I'm a big Keanu Reeves fan myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of his stuff. I mean, recently he's been on a bit of a barnstorm person.
Oh yeah, Kick-Ass. He was in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, he did. Because he played Mr. What is it,
His dad.
Mr. America or whatever? I can't remember what it was. Or Captain Kick-Ass.
Captain. Yeah.
Oh, so what do you think about the eventual, the Matrix reboot?
I'm not
The
interested
prospect
in
of it. Do you know what we obviously, for those who don't know, me and Vicky went to go and watch the Eternals. I think we spoke about it briefly last week. That was actually one of the trailers, and I must admit it looked so alien to what the original stuff was about, and I don't know how I could even connect with it really. It's interesting. I was actually quite surprised that someone like Keanu Reeves would actually go and do it, considering.
Yeah.
Which is the one reason that I might want to watch it, because it might be one of these sleeper films where they're showing you certain stuff in the trailers, which is kind of a bit not quite what you're expecting. Then you go and watch it and you're like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense. But ultimately, yeah, it seems like a very. I feel like the Matrix should have just been left where it was. I think it had a good conclusion and done, and I say a good conclusion. I mean, the second movie was all right. The third one was just about bearable.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be fair, we think of the Matrix with like rose-tinted glasses.
Yes.
Because the first one, everyone loves the first one, and I can't. I think I watched the second one once, and the third one a couple of times.
Me and Vicky watched it. I think end of last year. Once,
yeah,
all the way through all three of them, because Vicky hadn't really watched them, and I was like, "Oh, it's all right, it's an all right story. It's a bit, it just wasn't really. It wouldn't be something I'll go back and choose to watch again right now. I don't think, if I had, but it's each their own. Everyone, it's just
absolutely. Point Break. Hands down, best one.
Yeah, that's actually out on Netflix at the moment. Actually, oddly enough,
it is. Yeah.
Because Vicky watched it the other weekend. Because I heard the gun scene that is being made even more famous by Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, you ever shot your gun over the year?
Oh dearie me. We've got going on here. Everyone loves a bit of Reeves. Point Break, best Keanu Reeves yet. Keanu is an awesome actor. Actually, I like Street Kings. Captain Jack. Actually, that was one of his more interesting ones as well. Enter Matrix is very, yeah. I mean, like I said, Matrix is a very. I think that's a very era-defining film. Actually, that one, because it was back. I think the thing that made that much more acceptable was the technology used to film it. Because obviously it was the first time they had the bullet time technology, and Dom will probably remember a particular game called Max Payne that came out roughly the same time, which was like, hold shift down and you can do bullet time. Like, oh my god, this is amazing!
It's a game changer. Oh no, it's a game mechanic. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it was the era of kind of special effects, which had a massive leap in what they could do with camera technology, and it was pretty amazing, to be fair. So it's because that was when was Matrix actually released? Was it 1990?
Say 99.
I'm gonna have a look actually. Let's have a look. It was 1999. Which actually was I think actually, if we were to probably say years for interesting things happening, that was actually quite an interesting year in 1999, because it was the year we both came out of school for starters.
Yeah.
And also a year where obviously the Matrix came out. There was lots of stuff going on around there, especially around computer gaming, film stuff, internet getting quicker. That was actually one of those years where it was all kind of kicking off. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going through some of Keanu's films here. Obviously got Speed. Yeah.
I watched that really odd one with him in it. Where those two women came knocking at his door.
Oh, I know the one you mean. I can't think of what it's called.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was very odd.
Yeah.
Very odd film. I've got to find it now because I just want to.
I mean, Constantine, that was alright.
I like Constantine.
The day the Earth stood still.
Bill and Ted.
No. 47 Ronin. I mean, like we're saying Nick Cage has made some bad films, but Reeves has made worse films than.
So true. I'm trying to think of the who's he? Can't remember his name. Clive Owen.
47 Ronin is not an amazing film.
No, it isn't.
It's amazingly bad.
But you know that because Clive Owen did a similar film.
I know the one you mean with the knights that got outcast.
I actually quite liked that. It was not a cinematic masterpiece by any means, but it was actually all right. Actually,
I think that's a paycheck film, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, actually, my favourite, because basically when he did King Arthur, that's when he started getting typecast into that kind of role, I think. Although I did like what's the one he did with Paul Giamatti?
Oh, the shooty one.
Yeah.
Shooter. Not a shooter.
No, it wasn't shooter. That was Mark Wahlberg.
I just love shooting people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember the name of it now. I've got to find it now.
Why is no one mentioned John Wick?
Shoot 'em up.
Shoot 'em up.
Yeah.
There you go. My controversial statement is John Wick's not all that. I like the first one. They should have just left it at 1.
I like.
Then all the others come out, and I'm like,
if I'm totally honest, I actually really like 1 and 2. 3 was bearable, but it was not my favourite out of all 3 of them. 100%. I do agree with that kind of comment. I think 1 and 2 were quite an interesting concept, but then they started going a bit. It got a bit silly in 3. That's when they started like bringing people like Halle Berry and stuff like that to make it all a bit more interesting. It's just
it's a bit like I compare John Wick to something like Taken. Like first Taken film,
brilliant film,
absolutely brilliant.
Second one,
and then it just got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
and then
the third one was awful.
Exactly the same.
The third Taken film was awful.
Yeah.
Second, you can just forgive because it's kind of like, well, he's done one. You can kind of see a second one happening because obviously it got very popular. But then it's always this thing about things that they kind of feel they have to do 3 of them. It's like, no, you don't. You can stop at 2. It's okay. But they're kind of hoping that people go, well, I kind of like 2. Maybe 3 is going to be really good as well.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. 2 was all right, but I think I'll watch the 3rd. Maybe it gets better.
Yeah, no,
No, never gets
it's
better.
very rare that is a thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you what trilogy got better in the 3rd film?
I mean, do you know what? I was going
Which had a rubbish 2nd film and got better in the 3rd.
Yeah. Odd enough, having watched trilogies, this was actually more of a quadrilogy. I'd never actually watched the Hunger Games through.
Oh, okay.
And I watched that for
What
the
do you
first
think?
time
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. So, and actually, again, this is kind of true of what we were just saying. I actually quite like the first 2, and then the 3rd one, which is the first part of Mockingjay, that was it was all right, and then 3rd one was like, why didn't you just make this into one film? Why did you do 2?
When the
completely unnecessary.
first one was it the first one came out? I'd read the books. I've read all of the books, and the 3rd one, like you said, it suffered from hobbititis.
Yeah.
Where it could have been one film,
Been absolutely fine, no problem.
They're like, why are we split it into 2? Insane.
I also say one of the reasons I love Keanu is because he makes mad martial art films like man. Yeah, I'll tell you the other thing to like about Keanu Reeves is he's actually, in my opinion, he's actually a genuine human being, which makes you appreciate his stuff. And Sam, Lord of the Rings is actually, in my opinion, a separate bubble, because Lord of the Rings.
My point was, which trilogy has a good first, a rubbish second, and a good third? And you can't say Empire Strikes Back is a rubbish second.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back.
Also, Sam, if you're saying Two Towers is bad, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And you like Lord of the Rings, my friend. Oh, okay, yeah, I thought so, because he was.
He's just making a statement.
Me and Sam share Lord of the Rings memes every day almost, so it's. Besides, you can't include certain films because if you take Lord of the Rings, it was actually written in 3 parts anyway, so 3 movies is perfectly acceptable in my opinion. However, if you take The Hobbit, it was written as 1 book, and it didn't need 3 movies.
No.
2 would have been, in my opinion, adequate. And don't worry, Sam, I know you've retracted it. I understand. So Star Trek films work kind of reverse. Every odd film is a bit. I don't know. What's that? Vicky saying? Have you actually watched them all now? she's jibing him. I mean, Star Trek films actually, Jack. I mean, in all seriousness, if you're talking about the latest ones, I found them all fairly enjoyable except for the last one.
Do you not like the last one?
It was all right. It's I mean, to be honest, the thing I liked about all 3 of them is that they were much more. This is an individual story. This is an individual story, and this is an individual story, which is nice because it wasn't this kind of thing where they had to continue on this arc. It was much more. This is happening at this particular point in time. Have fun with it, and that's actually what made them work, in my opinion. Whereas other stories which don't necessarily work as well, like as the Matrix example, that was a continuation story, and it just went too far. It was just like, oh, this is happening. It's like you can see where it was going to go. It was all a bit. Oh, the original ones, Jack. Okay, well that's a slightly different thing. Yes, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, the original Star Trek's movies.
Wrath of Khan. That was my favourite one.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think it was more of a very pick and choose on Star Trek. You kind of watched one, you went, I didn't like that, but then you watch the next one, it's like, doesn't matter if I didn't like the last one, it didn't really matter, because again, they're all individual stories, aren't they? They're not continuation projects, because obviously a lot of them had supporting stuff going on around them in the series. That was kind of what's this? Mortal Kombat 1 was good. Good 2, 3. Struggling to remember. I actually watched the most recent Mortal Kombat the other weekend when me and Vicky were over dog sitting, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was so bad in certain ways, but it was actually it was just a good fighty film. You know what I mean?
Give you a couple more examples of bad trilogies.
Oh yeah,
The original Jurassic Park. Number
yes.
3
Highly
is
unnecessary.
terrible.
Highly unnecessary.
Like, to be fair, Lost World has moments where I'm like, oh, this isn't too bad. Oh, Terminator. Another bad trilogy.
Dark Fate.
No, just the original Terminator.
Oh, is that okay? So,
after
yes.
Judgment Day,
Sorry, yes.
it's all downhill.
Yeah.
There's no good third one after that.
No.
I
watched
what else? Aliens.
Yeah.
The second one was good. The first one's amazing. The second one's good. The third one, open to debate.
What about Resurrection? Was that the third one?
That's a fourth one.
Fourth one.
The third one's when they're on the prison planet.
The prison planet. Yes, that was.
And all the prisoners are British.
Have you watched Resurrection as well?
Yes.
With Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was.
Don't make a fourth. Make a fourth.
Big chin.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Bridges.
What other bad ones were there? Yeah, RoboCop. 1's good, 2's okay, 3's terrible.
What about the reboot of RoboCop?
I liked it. I think I liked it. I didn't mind it. I was like, oh well, RoboCop.
Yeah. That was actually exactly the same opinion I had, Dom. Actually, it was very much yeah, it was.
Die Hard as well. Die Hard 1, brilliant. Die Hard 2, good. Die Hard 3,
4 was good though.
Which one?
4.
4.
4.0. I like 4.0.
Didn't hold up to the others.
But then
right.
But 5 was freaking awful.
The first 3 Alien movies are in very different genres. They are in different genres. Starship Troopers.
Home Alone.
Home Alone. Ah! No, exactly. Yes! A bad trilogy. 1 brilliant, 2 doable, 3 what's going on?
How does this happen?
Jaws.
Oh dear. Oh, we've gone off track, Dom. We've gone down.
They learned.
We've gone down movies.
With Anchorman, they were like, 1's brilliant, 2 didn't go well, 3 let's not do it. Let's don't go back. Taken, bad trilogy. Oh, Back to the Future as well.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Was there a third Ghostbusters?
No, but that's my point. They stopped at 2.
Yep.
And that's actually where they should have left it, oddly enough. Although I rewatched the remake, the reboot of with I think it's Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy. I actually liked it the second time round watching. It wasn't too bad if you take it as a kind of a completely separate bubble.
Yeah,
because that's kind of.
I agree. It wasn't bad.
No, to be fair, that's what it was intended for as well, which is what this stupid thing is. People are going, oh look, it's another thing. No, it's a complete.
Oh, all right. This is the game changer one. This is one that has got a good trilogy. Indiana Jones.
Yes.
That is a good. That I think the third is probably my favourite.
Yeah. However,
Last Crusade.
Again, that the point of that is they are not continuation stories, are they?
No.
No, they're an individual. Like this is an event that's happening right now, and that's what we're telling. It's not one of these things where you've got something to happen after the first story's happened and continuation.
Yeah.
And I think that's more of a. This is a different story. We're telling it now. Awesome, and that's why it worked, because it wasn't one of these things where we've got to develop this character into something different each time. And that's where a lot of these. That's where, for instance, the latest Star Wars trilogy fell down. Trying to develop these characters in a very similar way to the first trilogy had done, but did it awfully.
Yeah, Disney kind of mucked up at the end. It was all good.
Yes.
Hello, Orkster. We're talking about trilogies, good trilogies and bad trilogies.
Yeah.
Mainly bad trilogies. No fun doing good trilogies.
But I'll be interested to see what they do with this next Indiana Jones, though.
Yep. Yeah.
He's very old now.
He is very old. I think it's over for him, really.
I mean, he broke his ribs. Didn't he?
A bit like Batman, though. Like Batman, right? Let's not go on about the Christian Bale ones.
They were good.
I mean, that's arguably, though, could be a similar
good trilogy.
situation there. Well, the first two are good. First one's all right. I quite like the first one. Second one, brilliant. Third one,
Yeah, I can agree
kind
with
of
that.
peaked in the
Yeah, in the
second
middle.
one, I think.
Yeah.
But with the original ones with Tim Burton,
Mm-hmm.
the original Batman,
Jack Nicholson.
brilliant. Yep. Second one, good. And then third one, oh dear. What happened there?
But then you think about when they put George Clooney in, and that didn't even get a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, no.
Stop it.
Harry Potter. Well, that again. Now you had to take. What I'm going to say, Jack, is you have to take these particular things out of slightly differently, because each Harry Potter movie had a book to rely on as source material. Just like Lord of the Rings, there was three things for that. There was, I think obviously, arguably with Harry Potter, they split the. I mean, actually, even the Deathly Hallows, the book was split. The last book was split into two anyway, wasn't it? So they had the same source material. So actually, it worked. Blade.
Oh man, yeah, Blade.
I like Blade.
No, the three of them.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like
Awesome.
the first one. I remember watching it and going, "This is amazing,"
because it was so different, wasn't it? It was like,
yeah. And then the second one's the one where they've got other breed of vampires.
They're fighting with the.
He's got like the vampire kill team with him.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then
I have a soft spot for the third one.
No, you only like it because he's in it. The others.
Ryan Reynolds. He's
that's the only good reason about 3. It's a bad film.
No, because it's got one of the best insults ever.
Yeah, I know, but we're not saying that one.
I'm not going to say.
Oh no, God, that's... Yeah.
I want to say it, but I can't. I must
say
it.
You can't say it, and we're going to definitely say
I think you'll find I can say it. Watch this.
So there you go. Trilogies don't always work out, do they?
No.
But you're right. If there's a source material, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter,
and a genuine source material, not one where they've gone, oh, we could put this into 3 things. Keep
splitting it up.
Yeah, if you have a book or an entire volume dedicated to a movie, and Lord of the Rings being the perfect example, you can't mess that up because there's enough material in there and it's paced correctly. Because the other thing is, coming with the Lord of the Rings is a very prime example. They'd already done audio books,
it's a generational thing.
It was all done, and they know the pacing is good. That's the thing. Pacing.
I think we're talking about when there's an initial success with a particular film,
and it's like, let's do another movie. Going. Yeah. And he's like, oh God, what did you do?
For instance, like Jaws. Jaws had an original book, but then they just kept making them. Or Jurassic Park as well. I think there was 2 books. There was definitely Lost World, wasn't there, for Jurassic Park? And then the third one. Was there a third one? I don't think there was.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna Google this now to see what just to.
Buddy, no. Dr. Dolittle 3 sucked. 1, 2 were great.
So
Lethal Weapon. What's Lethal Weapon 3 like? Is that the one with Jet Li?
I can't actually remember. That's how bad it is.
Who was with the South Africans? I don't know.
Oh.
Was Lethal Weapon 3 any good?
Okay. I've actually looked up currently what the 13 most worst trilogies are.
Go for it.
So number 1 is Matrix trilogy. Obviously we discussed that one already.
Yep.
The Hobbit trilogy is the second.
Yep. Arguably.
Okay. Star Wars episodes 1 through 3. I think there's positives to argue on both sides of that. By the way, I think I didn't mind it that much. I didn't mind it that much. It was all right.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Okay. We'll go.
The Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks. Oh, have you seen the series Mighty Ducks on Disney?
No, apparently it's quite good.
It is good. I recommend that.
Okay, I might.
I watched the first Mighty Ducks. I didn't watch the others.
Now here's one that I might disagree with, but this is because I have a soft spot for this particular series, which is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The originals, 1990, 91, and 93 ones with the full with the body suits.
I heard the third one is terrible.
The third one was
the first one. I loved the first one,
and the second was alright. Okay, you ready? Addams Family.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
The
Adam's Family's not good.
the I Know What You Did trilogy.
Watch the first one.
Oh no, this one is bad. Big Mama's trilogy.
I'm not familiar with the trilogy.
I didn't realise there was 3. but but you got Big Mama's House 2, and Big Mama's Like Father, Like Son. I don't even want to know. But the fact that the movies were spaced out from 2000, 2006, and then 2011 shows you how popular that one was. Oh God, the Delta Force trilogy. Did they make 3 films with Chuck Norris?
I loved it.
Problem Child trilogy.
I watched the first Problem Child. I remember owning that on VHS. I can't imagine it really warranted a trilogy. I imagine by the end of it, there was a third child or a second child at least.
The Look Who's Talking trilogy.
No. Once again, I think it was one of those ones where I went, this is quite a cool novel
quite like
idea.
the first one.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I have watched the second 2, and I was like, because I think they went to the dogs at the end one, and I was like, no. What the hell? I haven't even heard this one. Sometimes They Come Back trilogy.
Never heard of it.
Neither have I. And the Troll trilogy. Troll 2, and Troll 3. Admittedly, that's a little bit out of our time because it was 1986, 1990, and 1990 again. So they managed to get 2 films out in one.
I think some series, though, some film series, they keep going, don't they? And occasionally they hit gold.
That's called law of averages, Dom.
Yeah, they just keep making it. Universal Soldier, there can't have been 3 of them.
Yeah, there was.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no.
There definitely was. I'm looking at the. So also, I've got just to round. To be fair, we should probably round this off now. So just to round this off, I now have a list from Rotten Tomatoes of the 18 most rotten movie trilogies ever. Just to round this particular subject off, so we have the Pitch Black series.
Oh, actually, I like the Pitch Black series.
So do I. Oddly enough.
Yeah.
They weren't bad, but I think it was yeah. And here's going to be another controversial one. Well, actually, it won't be for you anyway. The Blade one is the second rated.
Yep.
Night at the Museum.
What was the third one?
I actually didn't realise they made a third one. Let me have a look.
No. Oh, was that in England?
It might well have been, yeah.
The first one was in New York. The second one was in Washington, and the third one they might have moved to the UK.
I mean, moving on to the next one. Nativity 1, 2, and 3.
Nativity is a brilliant film. I don't care what any of you say. Nativity is a Christmas classic. All of them. All right. I don't care what anyone says.
See,
like,
I knew
mouth. Every codex.
You just got to go through stuff, and he'll get like this. You see, look at him. He's gone mad.
Nativity, yes. Yeah, one's got Martin Freeman in.
Yeah.
The other one's got David Tennant in. And another one's got... Oh, who's the other one? Oh, I can't remember who the other one is.
Well, anyway.
Say who the third...
Oh, so the third one. Yeah, see, I can find out for you. Nativity. What's the third one called? Nativity 3?
Oh, it's got the guy from Men Behaving Badly in it.
Well, Martin Clunes.
Yes.
Martin Clunes, Mark Wooten, and Catherine Tate.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
So the next one is the Human Centipede trilogy.
Never watched a single one of them. It's not really something that's appealed to me, to be honest.
No, it was.
I've thought about playing Emperor's Children, but then I've kind of gone away from it.
Taken, as we discussed.
Taken's a terrible trilogy.
Jeepers Creepers.
I think I've seen the first one.
I haven't watched.
This is what I mean. The first one of Jeepers Creepers is good. Okay, it's a solid film. Second one, yeah, and see, the first one was successful. Well done. It was a bit Second one was classic kind of cash in. Oh, let's put a load of hot teenagers on a bus, and they all get murdered one by one. Come on.
Classic material.
Yeah.
And then we go to the Da Vinci Code, which I agree with because I actually quite like the first one, but I did not enjoy the second 2,
I
personally.
can't remember. I've definitely watched
That's
one.
exactly it. I can't remember what
I
happened
can't.
in the second and
I
third.
can't tell you which
No.
one I've watched.
Divergent.
I've watched the first one. It was rubbish. So I
Yeah,
kind of
I can't even comment. Look, he's talking, which we already discussed about. We've got Kiss the Girls.
not a clue.
I didn't even realise it was. It's Morgan Freeman in the first one, actually. Porkies.
No. Why did they make a ginger
I don't know.
Oh no.
Anyway, yeah.
So Starship Troopers, going on Dave Holland's one there.
Yeah.
First one, amazing.
Yeah.
Second one, a bit, and third one, terrible. Scream 1 was good. Scream 2, kind of remember. Scream 3, they just turned into cliches. They're their own cliches. It's not good.
And then we had the Mighty Ducks, which we had earlier, obviously. The Cannonball Run.
I don't think I've watched any of them.
Neither have I.
I know. I think I got the idea of it. I think I'd quite like to watch the first one.
I think I've watched the first one. I'm pretty. This might be a bit
might
in my.
one,
Might be back in my head somewhere.
Yeah.
Arthur and the Invisibles.
Not a clue.
Nope, neither have I. I know what I did last summer. I think we discussed that one earlier. And then we have Big Mama's House is on.
Back.
And then
people have strong views
one
about
I've
Big Mama.
never heard of is Atlas Shrugged.
Not a clue.
No, that's it.
There you go.
Those are the currently 18 worst trilogies. By the way, when I said Pitch Black was bad, that had a 50% rate, 57% rating. And
I think the Pitch Black.
No,
is solid series
but
of
57% is not necessarily a reason for it to be bad.
Yeah.
It just means it splits opinion.
Expendables 3 is bad.
Yes.
Sorry,
because
Expendables is
Expendables. I actually liked Expendables 1 and 2, by the way. I think they were okay, but 3 they went with that kind of we better go PG.
Yeah, 3 was like we need to bring a younger team in, and it's got Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, look, Mel Gibson with his funny eyes.
And they made it a 12 as well, which isn't the right material for that style
They're
of
making
movie.
another one.
Are they?
Yeah, they're making another
Expendables 4? Let's have a look.
Yeah. Because I remember the first one coming out, and it was that like, oh my goodness, they're all in the same film together. And it was like, oh, here's the second one. Oh, they've done the third one now, have they?
Mercenary Barney Ross and his team take on an arms dealer and his private army.
There you go.
Cast: Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham's back, so is Dolph Lundgren, and Randy Couture. So the people that probably need the most money at the moment, I suspect. There's not a lot of call for Dolph Lundgren, Jason Statham at the moment, I suspect. I haven't seen him in a lot of films recently.
No. It's kind of like the Adam Sandler crew, though, isn't it? Now they're all just do the same films together.
Oh, but there's another trilogy example: Transporter.
Yes, another example of one good one.
Yeah,
and then
a Medicore 2, and then 3. I remember. Do you know what, John? I remember watching that at yours. Remember we both watched it? I think it was at your house, and I was like, "Why are we watching this? This is awful."
I was like, Tom, stop thinking about it. Get back to bed.
Right. Anyway, I think we're going to call it there tonight, guys. We've cracked on a fair bit. So I hope you enjoyed our little input on movie trilogies. I think it was actually quite an interesting discussion, personally. So I think hopefully maybe we'll bring it back up in a bit, and we can when we have a little think about it, we can ask you in a couple of weeks' time what you come up with between now and then. You can add to the list. So as usual, it's been lovely talking to you all. I have been Tom, and this has been
Tom!
And we're both from Black Toe Studio, and we look forward to catching you in the next episode of Let's Dom and Tom Sit and Talk Hobby, etc., etc., etc. So everyone take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye!